Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley, I'm an exercise physiologist, and today I'm here to talk to you about how to be a feminine woman in this modern world. So there are some characteristics that can make a natural born woman more feminine, and no matter where we are in our lives, no matter how our personality is, being more femme or feminine is going to make us more, I think, happy and more appealing to the opposite sex, obviously. And there's some things that were kind of lost in translation over the years, and I kind of want to bring those things up now and just let you know that it's not a bad thing to be feminine, okay? So I'm not talking about being a feminist. I'm not talking about only caring about women's rights, which women's rights are important, but you know, the rights that we've been given from God to exist are the most important, in my opinion. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about what it means to be feminine. The first thing I'll mention is how we respond. And so a lot of these things may be applied to men and women. A lot have to do with integrity in general and character. But I think as a woman, how we respond to things is going to be very important. So obviously we want to think before we speak or respond to people. And then even if people are angry or mad, we can always stop and not react and you know, reply in a calm and rational way. And sometimes they feel embarrassed if you don't respond back and they look at their own behavior. So we're not perfect, we're not always going to get it right. Sometimes we get mad, but if we can try to get ourselves calm and centered as a woman to be able to kind of create an atmosphere of gentleness, and that's the other thing I want to talk about, is just creating an atmosphere. So I think, you know, as a woman, we have the responsibility of creating a gentle atmosphere. We want to be able to, you know, let people know that it's okay around us, that they don't have to be afraid or intimidated. And that's just not what I'm seeing a lot in men and women these days. You know, everything's about intimidation or about, like, you know, making people think that we're more than what we are or we're different than what we are. But being able to just create an environment around us that is conducive to people just feeling, I don't want to say safe, but just feeling like they can truly just relax, you know. And it's not a responsibility. It's not like we have to do that and stress ourselves out in every environment. And I think sometimes that's where women get it wrong. From my observation, is that they think it's their responsibility in every environment. So in the environments that you feel that is your responsibility, maybe with your family, in your own home, in your friend circles, at work, wherever you have any kind of position, is going to be, you know, it's not that it's up to you, it's just that, you know, it's nice to take that on and to kind of not necessarily be a leader. You don't have to be a leader, but just kind of know you're okay and just around you is okay. Okay, and just give off that kind of energy, okay, if you want to think about it that way. So you want to have your own life as a woman. So, you know, it's a lot of women, I would say, sometimes get bitter because men have not made them feel a certain way, or men have not fulfilled their expectations the way they thought that they should, and they become, I think, in a way, a little bit more masculine because they feel they have to kind of take on that other role since they feel that men failed them. But that's not necessarily going to be healthy, okay? So number one, in this scenario, we want to let go of the past. We don't want to harbor any bitterness or resentment as a woman. We don't want to hate men. We don't want to talk bad about men behind their back, our loved ones, even if they make us mad. We want to always just try to be positive. So, you know, a lot of these things, it is challenging. It's challenging to be human in this day and age in general. And I think that's where having the relationship with God makes it a lot easier and makes it, you know, where you feel like everything's okay. Okay, so I understand there are reasons to be mad at people. You know, there are some really messed up things that men and women have done, you know, and people will continue to do throughout, you know, time as we go on. But how you let it affect you and your personality and your you know, just aggressive behaviors and anger and angst and all these negative emotions that can cause ill health, that's really up to you, okay? You decide how you let people make you feel, okay? My Aunt Diane, actually my mom's Aunt Diane, she told me that once and I never forgot it. I think I've mentioned it before in this channel, but it's really helped me in my life, and I found it to be very important advice. Okay, so removing bitterness and having your own life. So you want to not rely on someone else to make you happy. Okay, even if you're in a relationship, you know, do your own life. If you want to do something, do it. Like, you can run it by them. You know, I'm gonna go for a walk or go for a jog outside, or I'm gonna join the gym, or I want to take a trip, or, you know, I do a lot of things alone a lot of times, you know, even when I'm in a relationship, because, you know, if I'm bitter and I'm mad if they don't want to do something with me, like, that's not going to help me, okay? I feel negative and I feel bad about myself, and I'm also not doing the thing I wanted to do. So if I ask them, say, hey, do you mind if I do this thing? It's really going to make me happy, or whatever, like, you know, it's more beneficial than getting mad. So having your own life is really important, so you're not putting so much pressure on that other person, and then hopefully you can come together and do a lot of stuff together as well. Okay, so allowing yourself to have emotions. Again, women now, they are conditioned to being so strong and so independent. While those things are not necessarily wrong, I think independence is great. We also want to be able to accept help when it's there for us. So like, if somebody opens the door for us, we don't have to be mad because so-and-so in the past hurt us, and we don't want men telling us, like, just accept it because it's there, okay? Maybe I have to carry on my groceries all the time alone, but if there's a man around who's stronger and he wants to help me, like, I take it as a blessing, you know, instead of thinking like, you know, they're not around to help me all the time, or feeling bad for myself, which is negative. And we've all been there, right? We've all had these type of emotions. But I think being present and being able to, you know, just accept, you know, help, or, you know, just being positive in the present moment, it's a challenge, you know, but I think it's going to be really helpful. Okay, so yeah, you want to be able to allow yourself to feel. So when you're alone, if you need to cry, you know, I see a lot of people posting on social media, they're crying, they're upset, and like, you know, I feel like putting positivity, as I've mentioned before, like, in the world is so important. But we're not always positive. Sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're confused, sometimes we're, you know, mad at people. And these are all the range of emotions that are natural and that God gave us. But to be able to sit alone with yourself in a room and reflect on how you're feeling. Maybe you can journal. People like journaling. I've done that throughout different times in my life. Talking to you, you know, helps me get things out. And just being able to analyze your emotions and feelings, and then cry if you have to, because you're going to come back to the world a better, stronger person, as opposed to holding it in. A lot of times like, I'll hold stuff in for so long and I feel like I'm going to explode, and I just feel really upset, you know, and it's a tricky situation. But I would tell you, you know, as from advice from me and just, you know, experience in my life, try to get yourself alone, you know, talk to God about things that are going on in your life, write things down, and try to be as transparent as possible. Just feel your emotions. And if people treat you a certain way and you don't like the way they're treating you, you know, there's a lot of, you know, finding boundaries now, and you want to create boundaries, okay? How about we get ourselves to a place where we are stable enough and connected to God, the source, so that we don't have to necessarily make boundaries. Obviously, if people are unsafe, then you should, you know, block them or disconnect ties with them. But to be able to be your stable self and to react in an appropriate way in every situation takes time. And the grace, I think, as a woman, you know, just having grace with people and, you know, kindness towards them, and just an open hand, I think is really important. And really, just if you look back upon the years, you know, just I think that really makes what a woman is someone who is thinking of others, opens their hand to others, is giving, is kind, and has self-control. Okay, and that can be seen in a negative way. But if you're doing those things and it comes from a place of power, from a place of having that connection with God, you're gonna feel so good. You're gonna feel so like you're really in this life, like you're really connected and you're really alive and you're really just synchronized with who you are as a woman, you know? And there's times when we fall out of that because of media and different input, you know, and programming out there. And so another thing I'll tell you is just be careful of the programming that you bring into your house, into your room, into your mind, because those things change the way you think subtly. And little by little, you can create the bitterness and just negative emotions. So we just want to be careful with that, okay? All right, so you also want to take care of yourself and your things. Make sure you're clean, make sure your environment is clean. That's going to help you have more self-confidence. Have wisdom when you're addressing problems. So, you know, just think first before you react. If somebody makes you mad, you don't have to explode or spend $1,000 at the mall. Like, you know, really think and utilize wisdom. You can look up the word wisdom as your homework. Okay? You want to, as I said before, you know, just be objective and really analyze the things that you watch. You know, you have to screen things for children, but, you know, I always look at movies before I watch them just to see what the content is, and because it's programming and it's going to make me think a certain way. And if I don't want to think that way, and I don't want to allow someone to present something to me that's going to change my mindset and make me negative or hate people for a certain reason, like, I just don't want that. I don't want to be manipulated, basically, okay? And we have the power of choice, all right? So I talked a lot about what it is to be a woman or feminine, a feminine woman, and I think it all comes to having that place inside of us where we feel calm and we feel like we are loved and appreciated. And again, it's not going to come from a man, it's going to come from a creator. And so I encourage you guys to work on that relationship with our creator and get to know him as we do this life. And you know, just to mention about men, I'm not a man, so I cannot begin to imagine what men go through, especially in this modern age, all the negativity out there. And if you're a man and you're watching this, I appreciate you. Thank you for holding the door open for me all the times, all the people that are, all the men out there that have ever done that for me, you know, or even just said hi to me or just been kind to me. You know, I really appreciate your positive attitude and, you know, your willingness to be outgoing and to just talk to people out in life. But there's three things that I think about when thinking about men, and maybe things that I want in a man, because, you know, there's a lot of stereotypes about what men should be. And so the three things that come to mind for me are leadership, you know, being able to see from a leader's perspective, having humility also, to not think more of themselves than they are. And again, this can be applied to women as well, but this is kind of what I think of when I think of being masculine or being a man. And then also is the last thing is being resourceful. So being able to provide for your family and to have the means and the resources to be able to do that. So being physically responsible, being you know, just resourceful in general, to kind of have that, you know, leadership and overseer outlook, and then also have the humility as well. And then it takes, you know, the proper woman to complete the man when the woman's being submissive and the man has the leadership, and they're both functioning in their roles as they properly should, with kindness for each other, you know, and treating each other more like friends, in the sense of just, you know, being careful with each other's feelings, no name calling, like, you know, being tender and kind. I think it can work out very well, okay? But unfortunately, we are in this fallen world and we make mistakes, and you know, I believe that things can be done right if we function in our proper roles. Do I know everything? No. I'm telling you from my perspective and the things that I've learned throughout my life, and hopefully this stuff can help you as well, okay? Especially if you're a young teen and you're looking to navigate this life and don't know where to start, and you're just looking at all these resources and these images and things out there that are just like confusing to you, but it's just what's out there, okay? And if you know a teenager, you can send them my video here and have them watch it, and hopefully they'll be able to get some light and some encouragement for their life. Okay, so 2 products I want to mentioned to you guys, I really like these. It's Heritage Store, and it's the rose water. This one has nothing else in it. They have one with glycerin as well, but I like this one. You know, it has just the rose water. There's no alcohol or dyes in it, and I like to basically just spray it around my hair. I don't wash my hair every day. I go to the gym, I sweat a lot, and this really helps me to feel refreshed in my hair, and gives me that natural curl, hopefully, or, you know, wave. And the other product I use is their castor oil. Okay, this here I put on my eyebrows because I've plucked them so much in the past, and this really helps them to stay, at least the ones that are there. And also I'll put it on any dry skin that I have. I've been struggling with a little bit of eczema recently, and I'm trying to figure out what it is. So I've added some supplements to my diet, and I'll talk to you guys about that in my next video. And hopefully I'll be able to help it, and then I'll have a solution for you. That's my goal with that and with this channel. Okay, so like, comment, subscribe. Again, share this with anyone that you think it might help. And have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.